Todd Bills here, your Overdrive Radio podcast host as usual for this edition, dropping to the podcast feed December 1st and then at the world-famous overdriveonline.com Monday the 4th. Wherever you're listening, you're in for a treat. Roundtable of sorts featuring 4 small trucking businesses among our 2023 Trucker of the Year contenders. We're in the process of wrapping up judging of 10 semi-finalists for the award this year, with a huge amount of operational diversity among them.
Yeah, it's been really fun, though, to read up on everyone and just all the diversity and all the different ways everyone came to where they're at. It's been really fun.
That was the voice of Sarah Schiltz, operator of the second truck and nominee owner-operator John Schiltz and Sarah's VTS business. That stands for Veterans Transportation Services. And the business follows John's couple decades worth of military mechanic work in the Army. When it comes to freight, as you'll hear in today's podcast, VTS is plenty diverse itself. That aside, the Schiltzes were on a call live with me, owner-operator Tim and Shelley Pulli of Pulli Express, and owner-operator Matthew Karr of K-Mac Trucking, joined there and nominated for the award by his wife, Corey. Separately, and also featured here, I caught up with Texas-based car haul owner-operator Crystal Rives.
Oh, I got a load going to Waco. I was going to go to Abilene today, but I got to do it.
It's been a tough year on the customer front for Rives' car haul operation, yet, as with many owner-operator, a stick-to-it-iveness, hustle, and quick on her feet nimble quality as a business owner yielded new opportunities, even in this market. The same can be said for others we'll hear from here today, including the man on the other side of a break, Matthew Karr, who, when he was featured as our Trucker of the Month in May, was playing the waiting game on final registrations, insurance, and more to go back out under his own authority for a big profit year leased in 2022. So now, we'll jump into these quote-unquote exit interviews with Overdrive's 2023 Trucker of the Year contenders. After this word from Overdrive Radio's sponsor.
Stop fuel from gelling this winter with Howe's Diesel Treat, North America's #1 trusted anti-gel. Right now, you need Howe's Diesel Treat more than ever, not only to keep you gel-free, but to fight the shortcomings of today's ULSD by adding vital lubricity, removing water, and preventing deposits. The only guaranteed anti-gel on the market, Diesel Treat also boosts fuel economy and improves performance. This winter, do yourself a favor and add Howe's Diesel Treat at every fill-up. Visit HowesProducts.com for more information.
That's HOWES. HowesProducts.com. Here's fuel tanker hauling owner-operator Matt Karr, K-Mac Trucking, about the year just passed, and as with all the owner-operators you'll hear in today's podcast, reflecting on the challenges faced throughout 2023.
Honestly, it's been pretty smooth. But
Okay.
One of the reasons it's been smooth is because of my past failures, my past mistakes. I've learned and learned to be patient. But we had a few little hiccups with waiting on insurance and getting clearances at different places, but that's nothing nothing to really get upset about. It's just one of them things.
Your biggest challenge throughout the year, it sounds like, was simply getting everything in place that you needed to be in place in order to get out and actually run with your authority again.
Yes, considering it was hazmat and it's, refined petroleum.
Okay.
There's some things I had to learn along the way, for sure. Well, I need this or I don't need that. Luckily, I have, I've built good relationships over the years, and they kind of guide me. As you need to do this, you need to do this, you need this much insurance, you need that much insurance for this place. Just ask questions and be patient. That's all you can do. For example, these trailers that we pull have to be certified every year, which I knew that. And then they have to have a 5-year inspection, and they have to go inside the trailer. But certain states require different rules on them. Like, it's the same inspection, it's just different paperwork you have to fill out. Like Illinois, if you get caught unloading without Illinois sticker on there, then I'm not sure what happens. I don't remember what they told me, but it's an incredible find. And, for the trailer. I mean, it's the same instruction for every other state. Arkansas, they have different rules. Missouri has different rules. It's just different rules and regulations you have to learn to be in compliance, because at the end of the day, it's hazmat. It's an explosive and a combustible. So they want to make sure stuff's right.
You didn't have to deal with that before because you had not been pulling your own trailers. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Some of that stuff I wasn't.
Right.
I knew about it, but I didn't know how to go about the procedures to take care of it.
Matt Karr and his K-Mac trucking outfit weren't the only tank pullers on the call. Pulli Express, a 3-truck outfit headquartered just west of Chicago and helmed by Tim and Shelley Pulli, run mostly liquid sugars in Walker tanks regionally and locally. Big things were afoot for the husband and wife, with some recent history equipment purchases with the intent to expand that. Well, delivery of that equipment came a little earlier than expected, let's say.
Yeah, we ended up, we have 5 trailers now. I think when we talked to you, we had 4, and we had 1 owner-operator, and now we have 2.
The extra trailer came about, we ordered a trailer, and the manufacturer, they cut off any orders after a certain date just because they were way too busy. Right. We happened to make that cut, and decided that, you know what, if this happens or it continues to happen, we better put another one on the books. And pretty much we forgot about it until we had a call from the salesman.
We're talking a year.
Yeah.
A year.
Yeah, the first trailer was at least a year. And then the second one, I think, almost a year, like 10 months, 10, 11 months.
Yeah. So, no, it was November of 2022 I put the order in.
Gotcha.
So, and then we were kind of like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Take it? Or?
That was a panic. I don't know if it was the wisest decision. Everything's up and running, so yeah.
So that's been very recent then that you've gotten those trailers and then put on another owner operator, right?
Yeah, so we got the trailer last week. He picked it up, and then the owner operator was like a month ago.
He started a month ago, but get the hydraulics and the truck set up, and then he's probably only a week out on the road with us.
The petroleum tankers, do you guys have to put hydro packs on that?
We do. We sure do. Yep. I can pump off about, like, diesel's a little slower than gas, but gas about 245 gallons a minute. I don't know how that sugar is. It's probably a little thicker. Probably goes a little slower, doesn't it?
So the thinner products like sucrose or thinner corn syrup, we could do probably anywhere from like 175 GPM to probably just about 220 would be a really good setup. The thicker stuff, you're definitely going to want to run it slower.
On our pumps, the petroleum pumps, so I'm sure yours are like this too. They have an internal bypass. Some of your above ground tanks that you pump off into, they have I'm not sure how it works, but it's a check valve. If the tank gets full, it won't let the product keep pushing into the tank so you don't blow a tank over. Anyway, and it will bypass internally or blow a tank over or blow a hose. I mean, you think about it, that's pushing it through a 2-inch hose, or 3 into the pump and then 2 out at 245 gallons a minute. That's a lot of pressure.
Some of the pumps have the bypass. The older ones, they do not.
Yeah.
So they'll actually lock up if there's anything stopping the product. Obviously, fuel a little more dangerous. For us, they just let it spill on the ground. So
we can't do that. It's a big
Yeah.
ordeal.
You know,
when that
we
happens.
don't like to. We don't like to. And
no,
if you don't have
no,
a change
we
of
like to be
clothes,
clean.
then you turn into a piece of rock candy.
Yeah.
Well, you've been in. It sounds like you guys been in the tanker business a long time. This is something I learned a long time ago. Sometimes and this is actually a fact, you have to go slow to go fast. You really do, because
with the
when I
corn
was
syrup for sure.
well, that and like gasoline and diesel and sometimes, and I see these young guys doing it. They'll get in a hurry, then they'll have a spill, and they'll spend 2 hours cleaning a spill up instead of just slowing down, taking your time, and instead of saving 60 seconds, it cost them 2 hours. I mean, you probably have ran into that too if you've been in the tanker business a while.
Yeah, we try to do. At least for me, I do my routine, and if anybody like a customer wants to try and help out, I'll stop them dead in their tracks. Like, no, you can't help me. Just I got this. So.
Yep, I'm the same way. I won't talk on the phone. I won't talk to anybody, because I mean, for example, now this didn't happen to me. It's happened to another company. I knew the man that did it. He contaminated some product. He put ethanol in diesel, and he hid it. Well, big construction outfit went in to get fuel at that service station, and I don't know how much they bought, but they put it in their big machines, their scrapers, their dozers, and everything else. And the last number I heard was like 950,000. That one driver screwed up because he screwed up. That's what it ended up costing the trucking company because of his foul up. So we have to be pretty diligent in what we do.
In terms of the big business challenges for Pulli Express, Shelley walked back farther in time than just this year.
I was talking to Tim earlier about this, and I said, what was our struggle at the beginning? And it's 10 plus years ago, well, since 05, but it was the customer and trying to find the right customer, and Tim was like just getting direct with the customer.
Right.
And I think, going to the load board, trying, having a few people or a broker finding loads for you, trying to cut out that middleman, that was a huge struggle at the beginning. And once we were past that struggle, it was a different level, because we didn't.
How did
have
you
that
get
middleman.
past it?
The voice you heard there was that of owner-operator John Schiltz, headquartered in Wisconsin and running now in an independent two-truck operation with his wife, Sarah, whom you heard at the top, and who nominated Schiltz for the Trucker of the Year award this year. John went on to describe his own desire to get beyond spot freight, which, to an extent, is his bread and butter for parts of the year when he's not working Midwest region harvests from field to processors.
Persistence.
I've been in since 2010, and that's still the biggest struggle. How many companies need one truck? How many customers can be serviced by one truck? None.
The plant that we work for,
Are you leased
house
onto
guys,
them?
No. They do have leased on drivers. They got about 11 of them. And then there's us as a small carrier, and there's another small carrier with just about the same amount of trucks.
You're dedicated to that customer then.
Yeah, you're dedicated to all our eggs are in one basket, which I say no. Because I've had customers just say, you know what, we're not going to use you anymore. Good luck. And this is out of the blue. And you're just standing there like, I don't know.
What am I going to do with all my equipment? Yeah. That was when we were doing the dump work.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. That was like 08 during those sessions. Persistence, getting into that niche independently, but still having a middleman, and then getting to know people in the industry. And that is, I think, how we did it, because we got to know people who knew them over there where we wanted to work. And I did a lot of like just stopping in. How's it going? Just, I need some parts, just chit chatting, a lot of networking, I would say.
Other friends too. I got a few other friends that are that have 4 or 5 trucks, and then I call them and say, hey, can you help me out? And, sure enough, they talk to whoever does dispatching where they're at, and it kind of just, your circle kind of gets bigger and bigger from there.
There's some commonality between the independent, now 4-truck business of Pulli Express and the 2-truck independent operation of John and Sarah Schiltz, VTS, again for Veterans Transportation Service. John served nearly 2 decades as a heavy truck mechanic in the Army. The commonalities between the two businesses have to do with the go-between Shelley Pulli mentioned for Pulli Express's sweetener supply liquid sugar customer, who handles all the dispatch for the primary plant they service. John Schiltz, too, with his harvest work, works through Plainfield trucking on those loads, which were wrapping up by the time of this conversation about 2 weeks back.
We're done with fresh vegetable harvest.
Okay.
Now we're on fall harvest, corn, soybeans out of the field.
Okay.
Sarah and I diversified a little bit. We have a combine. We do some custom harvesting, and we do the custom hauling as well. So that's worked out pretty good. We're getting ready to go back to flatbed, and we're just going to see what next year plays out. We've had a good year because we stayed diversified. We just try to make ourselves as valuable as we can to the small customer base that we have. We're too small to get direct freight. We're just too small. I can't go to John Deere. They need, they will use you, but their requirements are huge. They want $2 million cargo insurance. There's not one piece of John Deere equipment that is worth $2 million. So I don't know how they justify that, but hey, it's their show, so they can dictate the rules, right? We try to stay valuable and stay current, and have customers when we deliver call back to the shipper and say, hey, we want those 2 back. They showed up with safety clothes on. They showed up on time. They showed up with a good attitude. They showed up with good equipment. They knew how to rig. I do a lot of my own rigging. I had rigging classes in the Army, so we just try to make ourselves valuable.
And what's been the biggest difficulty you faced this year, and how did you deal with it?
John's wife and fellow owner-operator Sarah Schiltz gave the initial response.
Probably gonna, at the risk of sounding like everyone else, because we do use the spot market most of the year when we're not doing vegetables, the freight rates this year have been, the beginning of the year, the first half was pretty good. We were profitable. We go out, we typically stay out, we follow the freight, wherever the rates kind of are best, that's where we go. So sometimes we're out 2-3 weeks with both trucks, and that works. Sometimes we sit a day or 2 or 3 and wait for the better rates. But once the freight kind of fell off the rails middle of the summer, we went back to our customers, our direct customers that we have. We always call them first. What do you have? Do you have anything? What do you need? They'll kind of give us an idea. And we kind of knew we could count on harvest again. That usually starts June, July. This year for us, it didn't start until September, but that was fine. So really, like John said, just staying diverse. I feel like, being able to go from a flatbed to a RGN to a dry van to an open top to a hopper, like you can hook up to anything. It really gives us a lot of flexibility as far as what our customers need, and we've got great contacts that we've built over the years. If we need to get a trailer, we've got a gentleman here in Madison that we just call and at Alliance and let him know, hey, we need a couple trailers, and he's great about, yep, I got you, and they're usually available within a few days or a week. And if we need to rent them for a couple weeks or a month or something, they're there for us. So, yeah, I think the rates have definitely been a hurdle. Also, I wanted to mention we do a lot of our own repairs. Obviously, we can't do everything. My truck's a little newer. John's very versed in the older trucks. His is a 99, mine's a 13. So the electrical stuff gets him. It's just, and I'm curious to hear what others think, but this year has just been awful as far as like finding quality maintenance. I feel like every time we take our truck somewhere, it's just, yeah, it's crazy.
We're totally there too. Yep.
Yeah.
So we just try to do everything we can ourselves, and it seems like I have so many stories of just like every time we leave, like our local Peterbilt here, and we love them, like we keep going to them, but we've just gotten to the point where they pretty much expect to see us back within 10 or 15 minutes because it isn't going to be done right, and it's awful. And I'm just wondering if other people are experiencing that out there.
I call out of state when I'm asking for when I have questions or parts. I don't even call in Illinois anymore.
Yeah, I have a couple of good mechanics that worked at Peterbilt back when, they had to know a lot of stuff, and I use them guys. I mean, they have all the stuff that they need to fix whatever I need, and if the book says it takes 5 hours and it takes 2 hours, you're getting charged for 2 hours, and that's how they do it. That's how, and
they're on their own now, Matt.
Yeah, they're on their own. One's north of Springfield, Missouri here, and the other one's south of Republic, where I'm at. Matter of fact, as soon as we got phone, taking the truck over there here just a little bit, have a little bit of work done.
The downtime, it's like, we only have 2 trucks, so it's really hard. Like this week, we took my truck in Monday to drop off to get some work done. And granted, he asked for an extra day. This is at a different shop, but still, we still haven't heard anything, and it's Thursday. So it's like when the truck, when the truck's down for a whole week, it's just, that's really rough. So I was just curious if, we need to keep looking around, or if it's something that's kind of all over, because I feel like it's on par for kind of the way things are as far as repairs.
I mean, personally, my personal experience, my independent guys have always been a little better.
Sure.
We have such a busy area that we're in, and I just feel like there's a lot of people not showing up to work at the mechanic that we just left, and they're just not doing the PMs very well. And we would constantly have to be going back, and we're like, we need a change. And then we're like, where do we go? Because you don't know the people you're going to, and then is your truck going to sit? That's just, it's such a battle.
Yeah,
and we ended up talking
3-week wait times.
Well, that's where you got to build relationships, like you were just talking about with freight.
Yeah.
Same as me. I spent years building relationships. It's like hiring drivers. You got to try them out. That's all you can do is try them out, and if they do you a good job, just keep going back.
I think something very helpful that we have done is we have a spare truck.
Yeah.
And was it worth it? Because the plates in Illinois are super expensive, and then maintaining it has become worth it just by not missing a load or two.
Yeah, thankfully we haven't run into anything major. I mean, if one truck's down, at least we still have income coming in. Thankfully, it's just, it can get frustrating when it's smaller, what seems like smaller repairs, and then it ends up, costing us because it doesn't get done right the first time. It's very frustrating, but thankfully we can do most of the maintenance ourselves, and we're getting pretty good at it together, as much as husband and wives can do that stuff together. It's
Sure. What's that old saying? A 5-minute job is a 1 broken bowl away from a 2-day job. Something like that.
You guys work on your own truck. That is something that we don't really have the capability. We're in I call it the Dust Bowl. Parking is a huge issue for us, being right outside of Chicago. It's tough. We got 4 kids, and I don't want to be an hour away from our house. And that's
so. Where do you guys keep your trucks currently?
In the Dust Bowl.
No, it's
an old quarry they filled in.
Yeah. So in the next town over from Brookfield, I mean, we're out. Everything for us is probably 15 minutes. The house, the plant, the parking, everything's about 15 minutes away. But with these types of truck yards, they got rules.
Right.
And, they don't even want you washing them.
That was one of the biggest decisions really that drove to bring another truck on, was the fact that John is retired military. He worked on trucks in the Army. That is what he did. So that really, I don't think if he had that skill set, it would have been, because you're paying for all the maintenance on both trucks. And I told him flat out, I was like, I'll definitely help. I have no issue with, getting greasy. I don't mind. So, I think that was a huge factor in deciding to get the second truck and really kind of expand and do what we're doing now, was the fact that we probably do 80% of our maintenance. I mean, even like John just put in new injectors in his N14. So it makes a big difference at the end of the year. The money that we save on labor. Labor is crazy expensive.
That would save us a lot if we did a lot of our work ourselves.
Texas intrastate independent car hauler Crystal Rives, who wasn't part of the group call, but who I did manage to catch up with a few days later, she had customer challenges this year, as one of her main used car dealer customers decided to launch its own trucking company, and, though she still hauls from them minimally, that move dramatically reduced the amount of work she was doing for them, for certain.
Losing a $100,000 contract almost. So, I definitely was scrambling, but I got in hauling new cars. So I've been hauling a lot of new cars.
Okay.
Like tomorrow, I'm taking a load to Abilene for new, I think they're Kias.
In that work, she found through another motor carrier. She's now set up with them as a third-party carrier and doing steady work there. Other challenges? As with the customer who brought its transportation needs in-house, competition, generally speaking.
And there's a lot of people moving down here and taking other people's work. And there was another guy I talked to that had a Ford stuff he was doing, and he was getting like 40 cars a week out of the auction. And he said somebody beside him was talking to him about it, and then come to find out about 2 weeks later, they took all of his work and undercut him.
Oh my God.
And he's been hauling cars for about 9 years. So I was just like, got to be careful. You can't tell people who you're doing nothing for, because they'll go in and try to steal your work. In this kind of business, it's terrible.
And how do you combat such dynamics? In just a couple words, quality service, Rives said. It's about all you can do.
And then they wind up calling you back because they think you charge too much, but they don't understand how meticulous I am about everything. And, like I check all my cars, I make sure I write all the damage down and everything like that. And then I don't tear stuff up. So some people, they wind up calling me back because they're getting cars that are just real tore up from people calling. They might be cheaper than me. They might be 55 a car local, and I'm 60 or 75 local a car. But I don't tear up your stuff. So you get what you pay for in the long run. That's what I always say. You want a good job done, well, it's going to cost you. But you always have that guarantee that, well, my stuff's going to be here and it's going to not be tore up and damaged. And it cost me a little more to get it to me, but, if somebody tears the whole underside of a car up, it might be totaled. And they really saved a lot of money, huh?
Finally, I asked all these Trucker of the Year contenders for their best piece of advice for new or aspiring owner-operators. For Crystal Rives, her first thought had to do with setting expectations for the amount of work required to succeed, particularly in the early going.
I would just tell them make sure they're willing to work hard and give 110%, because 100 just sometimes won't cut it.
Right.
And also to make sure you have a little nest egg saved up, so if something happens to your truck and you don't know how to fix it yourself, you can, pay somebody to work on it. A lot of the things, that I tell people well, I wanted to get into the car hauling business, and I said, well, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, but it's very meticulous, and you have to pay really close attention to everything, because if you miss a damage, and they say that you damaged a vehicle, and if it's bad enough, you might be owning whatever that car is, and you didn't make no money. So I tell them, if it was, something that they really wanted to do, and they give it their all, then they can be successful. And and it's like me. I'm the mechanic. I'm the driver. I do all the books. And like I said, anything that I can't do, I don't have the certain tools to do, I take it to my guy. But you just have to me, if you're going to be an owner-operator, I think you need a little bit of a mechanic background, or kind of know at least how to change a tire, or, say if your truck starts cutting in and out or something, you at least know how to diagnose what the problem might be, because that will help you save money in the long run, and you could also grow and have experience from that in itself.
Personal growth through maintenance experience has been the story for John and Sarah Schiltz, particularly of late as John continues to walk Sarah through the paces of maintenance. I'm reminded of what Kevin Rutherford said as part of his Talk the NASTIC conference, featured on the podcast last week, about truly mastering a skill. Among the best ways to do that, he suggested, was to teach it to somebody else. At once, John Schiltz's first thought on advice to new owners was a little different, let's say.
Run away right now. This is kind of a joke, but vote Republican, because the politics in this industry have killed us. Safety and maintenance, huge.
Learn how to turn a wrench, I guess, is part of that too, right?
Yeah, or don't be afraid to find that good mechanic. Buy the good high-tier tires.
Yeah.
Your tire pressures. My gosh, tire pressures are insane. You're all probably going to laugh at me, but I adjust my tire pressures every 3 weeks. I either raise it 3 pounds or drop it 3 pounds in all the tires, so I can get wear on the outside, wear on the inside to keep everything running true.
They're super expensive.
Definitely don't over grease. Maintain your equipment. That's the biggest thing. Tire pressure and balance. We run Centromatics on everything, even our trailers. Keep them balanced, keep it aligned. Just do what you got to do I see too many people cutting corners. Spend the money. If it rattles, fix it. Because in the long run, it's going to keep you off the hook. It's going to keep you out of some shady garage down in wherever, Arkansas, where Jethro says, I always wanted to work on a transmission. And you're only going to get a few weeks down the road, and then there goes your transmission again, and now you're doing it all over again.
Exactly. I concur with that completely.
Good oil, coolant, constantly check everything. Make sure your batteries are good. I just went through that.
For someone just starting out, after all of that, you kind of just say good luck. I just was asked the other day, hey, is it worth owning your own equipment? And I go into everything that was just said. You show up to a customer and your truck is shaking and rattling, that's the only time you're going to be there. Again, with a positive attitude. So basically just everything reinforced, and then, kind of.
I think Tim, I'm having some deja vu here. You and I and Shelley talked about this very thing, because I did ask you this question. I think Shelley said something like everything is a lesson, right? Like, I think that was part of the headline, wasn't it? Anyway.
Oh, for sure.
Like constantly be, just constantly be teaching yourself, like from your own experience, and learn from it, and don't do the bad things again, right? Yeah. Anyway, don't make the same mistake over and over again. Yeah.
New people should be honest with yourselves. Don't let your mouth write a check that your butt can't cash. Don't make promises that you can't do. Don't go and take a job with a 15-foot wide Case IH articulating tractor unless you know you're qualified to haul it.
Mm-hmm.
You see it every day. You see it on social media. Somebody smashed into something. They hit a bridge. They dropped this. A combine flipped off a truck because he tied it with rope and bungee cords instead of 3/8-inch chains and binders that were properly secured. Everybody runs out because they see it big dollar signs, and just be honest with yourself and take on jobs that are within your grasp, within your capabilities.
So
I'm not going to haul fuel. I could get a trailer tomorrow morning, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, insurance is a bit high. One of the things that I see a lot is you see guys getting worked up and irritated and whatnot. And it's really hard not to sometimes, but people forget basically all we are is in the service industry. That's all we provide is a service. That's it. We don't, I mean, if you really break it down and think about it, we're just providing a service. We're moving somebody's freight for them. So you got to build relationships, maintenance on the trucks, like you said, because if you don't do it, the DOT will definitely find your problems for you. They are good about finding your issues if you have any out on the roadside, and that's not fun. But build relationships, and it takes years sometimes. And what I get frustrated with is everybody, wants to get into this, and they see that I have a nice truck or whatever, and nice trailer, and I get to go on vacations. But I've been doing this, 25 years, like I said, gas 17, and I've worked many 100-hour weeks. A couple of weeks ago, my damn alternator went out. It's pissing and pouring and raining. Only shop was open was Peterbilt. They couldn't get me in. So I changed my alternator in Peterbilt parking lot at 10 o'clock at night in a downpour. That's broke a bolt too, by the way. Be patient. Do your due diligence. Take your time.
Patience is a virtue, right?
I'm still caught up on, you said vacation.
Right?
It's a big thanks to Tim and Shelley Pulli of Pulli Express, Matthew and Corin Karr, K-Mac Trucking, VTS's John and Sarah Schiltz, and Texas headquartered Crystal Rives for all the considered thoughts here in the conversation. Stay tuned next week for most of the rest of our 2023 Trucker of the Year contenders as we wrap up the program for the year, with top 3 finalist announcements to follow later this month. You can find profiles of all of them via overdriveonline.com/trucker-of-the-year. Overdriveonline.com, Trucker of the Year with hyphens there between. I'll post that link in the show notes wherever you're listening to. Overdrive Radio is on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple and Google Podcasts, TuneIn, most any platform. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and if you're enjoying these, leave us a rating or review there. Big thanks in advance for that. Overdrive Radio is a production of Overdrive, the voice of the American trucker. It's edited and produced by me, Todd Dills, with the acoustic guitar and other support of trucker-songwriter Long Haul Paul Marhofer. The theme is Legend of the Snake Man by Marhofer, featuring guitar work of Travis, the Snake Man himself, Lanik. Terry Two Socks Richardson on bass, keys by Tisha Mingo, Jim Whitehead, and drums, Andrew Marshall. The podcast is backed up further by Overdrive's own news editor, Matt Cole, executive editor, Alex Lockey, and video editors, Lawson Rudisell and Andrew Gwynn. Until next time, keep it pro.